Social dilemmas can also lead to group conflict. These are situations where we must choose between maximizing our personal outcomes or those of the group. Let's explore several types. The first example is the commons dilemma. When too many members behave selfishly and pursue their personal goals, the whole group suffers long-term losses. For instance, when a group must share a limited pool of resources, such as water or food, members may have to take less than they need, just to survive. To overcome this dilemma, first, bring it to the group's attention and discuss a strategy for addressing it. Also, clarify performance standards and establish norms that encourage members to take only what they need. For instance, some state parks encourage visitors to recycle, with signs like, "Take your litter home like other people do." Another example is the public goods dilemma, which exists when we can access a public good, like a park or blood bank, without having to contribute any of our own resources to it. If you need a blood transfusion, you can have one, without ever having donated blood yourself. Unfortunately, free riding is prevalent and contagious in these situations. As a non-profit organization, National Public Radio relies on donations to sustain its operations. However, most listeners enjoy the programming without giving a cent. To address this issue, hold takers accountable for their lack of contributions by increasing the costs of not giving. The third category is fairness dilemmas. We tend to judge fairness by our relative standards of justice, equality, and economics. So, the definition of fairness varies across individuals, groups, organizations, and cultures. Organizational justice refers to members' beliefs about the fairness of the work environment. There are three major types. Procedural justice is a judgment about the methods used to make decisions and allocate resources. When members believe that the decision-making process is fair, they're more likely to view the outcomes positively. Distributive justice is a judgment about the actual outcomes and their distribution across group members. For instance, if members perceive a wage gap, they may think compensation is distributed unfairly. And interactional justice is a judgment about the fairness of how members are treated by others, called interpersonal justice, and how information is shared with them, known as information adequacy. Together, these justice perceptions play an important role in members' satisfaction, commitment, and performance. Fairness can also be judged by our perceptions of equality and equity. Equality is the notion that members receive equal outcomes, regardless of what they contribute. In this image, equality is represented by the equal size of the boxes used to see the baseball game over the fence. Notice how the smallest child doesn't benefit from the equality principle. They're still too short to be able to see the game. Equity is the notion that members receive outcomes proportionate to their contributions. So, members who contribute more than others receive more rewards. It's no surprise, then, that these members prefer the equity principle, while members who contribute less prefer the equality principle. When members think they're getting too little for what they contribute, they may perceive what's called negative inequity. These perceptions can then lead them to withdraw from the group and contribute less. On the other hand, when members perceive positive inequity, they think they're getting too much for their contributions, and they're motivated to increase their efforts or reduce their outcomes.